Capricorn. Welcome to Yellow Cardinal Tarot with me. My name is Carole, and this is going to be a general reading for you for April 2026. And if you're new to my channel, I want to welcome you, and I would encourage you to comment below and let me know that you found my channel. And if you're coming back for another reading, and if you've been supporting me for a bit, I want to thank you as well. This is a fairly new channel. We're like 2 years old now, so it's young. Some of you have been following me for a while. You know that I'm on my own healing journey. I've been healing intensively for 9 years now this April, and I have complex trauma. So I've been working through a lot of repressed memories around my own sexual abuse and trafficking in my own family. And so this channel is very important to me because it helps me bring in a lot of what I've learned on my own healing journey and to help you with your own healing. And in 2020, I started a Carole Cares, and I started a website, carolecares.com. And, while the world was in COVID, I was actually quite a bit of a mess, I think, grieving quite a bit. But I did manage to have a website get made. And then from there, other gifts started coming to me as I did more healing, and I work with a trauma coach. My tarot came to me a few years back, and again, it was something I had to work through a lot of my memories to get to be able to go in front of the camera and be not afraid and know that I could read these cards. And then so I offer you personal readings. I have a page on my website that has a list of personal readings. And then just about a year ago or so, my spirits, I realized that spirits were calling me and wanted to work with me. And I had a lot of trauma around that I had to work through as well, to finally be able to become a shamanic practitioner. And so I took a 2-week intensive course with the Foundation for Shamanic Studies, and I'm going to be doing the 3-year course soon. And I take courses too on weekends with them. And so if you're interested in a healing, I offer that for you. And that's as well, it's on my website, Red Snake Medicine. And I offer you a free 15-minute consultation with me. It's a Zoom call, and we talk and figure out, if we're compatible with each other, and I can do healing for you. So those are just things that I offer. But you are here for your reading. So we're going to do your reading. We're going to look at what's your next step. Because this month is a powerful month energetically for everybody. It's, we have that fire horse energy going on, and then we have a full moon in Libra on the 2nd of April. And then we have this incredible new moon on April 17th in Aries, where you have 9 orbiting bodies, and I think 7 of them are planets. They're moving into Aries, and so there's this incredible Aries energy that we need to take advantage of. It's for you to do something new. It's for you to do something brave, and it might involve taking a risk. It's a real period of rebirth for you. Aries energy says, I am. You step out into the world as this is me. And whether it's a real small step or a big step, if it has something to do with your career or relationship, or maybe you're going to move, or maybe you're doing something spiritual that's, a little bit different, or you're moving into a different direction. This is the time. But when this happens, when we're all ready to go and do that move, we find that we have this incredible resistance or this fear around doing this, or this block. And we can't figure out, I thought I was going to do this. I had everything planned. And then all of a sudden you get this resistance, this fear, and you sort of get shut down, right? And so we're going to look at what's your next step. And I'm going to use the Ehrenberg Tarot. So let's start off with, I'm going to put that away because I'm not sure if I didn't announce it yet. I'm going to start off with Capricorn. Sorry, I'm going to start off Capricorn with asking, what's your next step? Okay, so let's start off with one card for that. What's Capricorn's next step? We have the Six of Pentacles and the King of Swords. Yeah, so, and then what I'm going to do is I want to know what's blocking you from moving forward, right? When you have that resistance, or what is it? What's blocking you from doing this next step? So let's ask one card for that. Nine of Wands. What do you need to heal? Because this is coming, this is blocking you right now, which means there's something here that you need to heal. There's something from your childhood, there's something from your adolescence that's coming up for healing that's blocking you from going forward. And you got to heal that first. And so we're going to look at your shadow, what's coming up here in your unconscious that needs healing. That's having the biggest impact here on, you know, this block. It's causing this block. It wants healing. You have the Five of Pentacles. And then finally, we're going to look at some advice from the tarot, because, you know, I can tell you, the tarot can tell you what needs healing here. But then sometimes we go, well, I don't know where to start. And so the advice from the tarot, it'll tell us where you're going to start. And then what I'll do is I'll offer you usually a playlist from Carole Cares, my other YouTube channel. And it'll be something that's going to help you with this. So let's ask for advice from the tarot. One card as to how Capricorn can heal this. How they can start to. You know, this healing is a journey. You have a card that comes in sideways here, and it's the Eight of Wands. The Eight of Wands. Okay, so we're going to use the Tarot of AE Weight to clarify the Six of Pentacles and the King of Swords. You have in sideways the Ten of Swords. And I think we're going to leave that there. Nine of Wands, a couple cards. Seven of Cups and the Six of Wands. Sideways. That's your block. What you need healing, I need some cards for the Five of Pentacles. A couple cards, clarifiers. Okay, so you have the Tower card and you have the Eight of Wands sideways. Second time the Eight of Wands has come out for you. And it's both times sideways. So that's interesting. It's come out twice. Eight of Wands. Over here for advice from the tarot. A couple cards to clarify that. Just going to move my paper up here. Well, we got four cards here. Three plus this fourth one. So you got the Eight of Wands, the Three of Cups, the Page of Cups in reverse, and the Eight of Swords. All of these cards for clarifiers. So a little bit of a story there. Okay, so let's begin. Capricorn, what's your next step? Well, you start off with the Six of Pentacles, and this person that is like, you know, kind of like I see this alms for the poor, right? Please, you know, I hand out my money and I am asking for some coins. And so it has that begging. I mean, if you think of the, this particular deck takes a snapshot of the Rider-Waite, so it has those beggars that are opening up their hand, they're opening their hands in there, and you have that individual that's weighing out the coins, right? And it's like the begging aspect of it, and it's you feeling like you're worth so much, right? And so I think that's where you are right now, where your self-worth is really, you know, coming to the forefront. And it's like, I think there's a real need for you, and you know it, that your next step is to look at your self-worth. And why don't you feel like you matter or enough? Like, why don't you feel like you're worthy enough? And that's where you're sitting right now. And because, I mean, the King of Swords comes out first of all, and he's right behind this Six of Pentacles, and the King is our masculine side. We all have a masculine side and we have a feminine side. It has nothing to do with our gender. Our masculine side is the part that lives in the head. It's our ego self. And he has that sword of truth and authenticity in his hand. And the last thing that your ego self wants you to do is to figure out who you are, is to figure out who your authentic self is. The ego self is the one that will want you to put all those masks on, then go out in the world and pretend to be someone else. But I think there's a part of you that's saying, no more. I'm tired of feeling unworthy. I'm tired of feeling unworthy. I'm tired of feeling like I don't matter. Like, where the hell does this come from? But this part of you is going, no, 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 don't you dare. Like, stay where you are. You know, you are unworthy. You don't matter. Because the ego self will repeat in our head the things that it heard when we were younger. It's almost like these people, like the authority figures that told you, parents or kids at school or whoever told you these things when you were younger and you believed it, because we're sponges, right? It's almost like they're on repeat in our head now, those things, and the ego self will keep repeating those things. But those things in your head, the spinning in your head about how much you don't matter and how much you're unworthy, is done you in. Almost. Like, it's sideways here. This is, you're done in. And this is like, you know, to the point of where, like, what's going to happen? Like, you know, what's going to happen if you continue on this path to believe that you don't matter? But there is something that's coming up for healing that will help you and tell you, you know, this came from somewhere. You're not born into this world thinking, I don't matter. You're just not. You're born in this world thinking you do matter. And then so somewhere along the line when you're younger, you get told all these things and we believe it. And so what's blocking you from moving forward now? You've got this unworthiness. You realize that it's come to a real, you know, a standstill here where it's like, I got to do something about this. I mean, or else, you know, maybe you've gone in and out of hopelessness and, you know, it's a shitty feeling. And what you're sitting in is a pile of shame. You know, when you feel like you don't matter, it just feels awful because shame feels shitty. You feel shitty. And so what's blocking you right now, where the Nine of Wands comes out here, and look at this individual, right? He's got a bandage on his head. He can barely, you know, see out of this one eye, and he just looks like he's gone through a battle. And I think what's blocking you is, I'm going to say, you're exhausted. You're exhausted from this inner battle in your head. And that's what's blocking you from moving forward. The bullying, the self-bullying, you know, the inner critic that keeps pounding themselves and saying you don't matter. And to make things worse, I think, like the Seven of Cups comes up here, and this is this individual that's looking at all these cups and seeing, you know, all these cups out there and can't decide what to do because there's so much out there that's just, to choose from. You just can't do it. And look at all the clouds there. There's so much confusion. I think you're in a state of like confusion, not knowing what to do, right? You know that you're sitting in this, this pile of shame and this unworthiness, but you just don't know what to do about it. I know this sounds like a really terrible, I'm starting off with a yucky reading for you, but I know there's going to be some light at the end of the tunnel, right? Because I think, I think you end with the card that says, you're feeling quite trapped in all this, but you can walk out of this. Like, and I'm going to help you here, and the tarot's going to help you. So the Seven of Cups is about like this individual that's really up in their head, and I use the word dissociated. Because if you're up in your head all the time, you don't feel your emotions. That's where the ego self likes to keep us, right? Up in our head. And that's where the ego self has kept you right now. Up in your head with this sword saying, don't you dare get to know who you really are. I want you to keep thinking that this is the way you are, that you're an unworthy person. Because the ego self just does what it's a protector part, and it seems to repeat a lot of what these people told us when we were younger. And it wants status quo. It doesn't like you to change. It's afraid of change. So afraid. It doesn't know you're an adult. Thinks you're still a child. It's trying to protect you still. And so you're very much up in your head. You're dissociated. I mean, you've been through a lot. And what's sitting here in a sideways position, the Six of Wands. This looks like a real victory card. And it's a weird card. You're thinking, here I'm going through all this shit right here, and I have this victory card, but there's a duality to my sixes, right? And so if you were to tear that green blanket off that horse, you're going to find what the opposite of victory is, and that's what you've lost. And so you've got this grief that's sitting here, and that's what's weighing you down. When you push down this heavy emotion like grief, and you continue to push it down and push it down, it is incredibly exhausting to not feel. We run around up in our heads. The ego keeps us up there and tells us not to feel. Don't go near your emotions. It's a petrified part. It doesn't like your emotions. It's really scared of them. And when we push these emotions down that we need to get to, because if you felt like you don't matter, and if you've been carrying around this unworthiness all your life, well, there's a lot of grieving behind that. And with that grief comes a lot of shame as well that you need to grieve. People that made you feel like you didn't matter when you do. And deep down, your adult self knows that you matter. And that's what's fighting for you right now, is your adult self. It says, yeah, you matter. Let's get to your authentic self. And so what do you need to heal? What do you need to heal? What happened to you when you were younger? Let's see if we can get some information. When you're a child or an adolescent, this is what's coming up from your shadow. This is what needs healing. This is what's, having the biggest impact on this block that you're feeling right now. Well, here's the Five of Pentacles. I don't make this shit up. The Five of Pentacles is this individual that is walking by a place of worship. Obviously, this individual needs shoes, doesn't have the proper shoes, or it's snowing out, it's winter, it's cold. Doesn't even think for 1 second that they feel worthy enough to go into that church and ask for some help. This is the card of unworthiness. This is the card of shame, and it's sitting right here. You have a shit ton of shame that is sitting in your shadow that you need to feel, and we need to grieve it. And when we don't feel that good about ourselves, it's because we've been shamed when we were younger. We're not born into this world with shame. It's given to us by people because they feel shitty. That's why bullies bully people, because they feel shitty. They carry all this shame, and they're just looking for someone else that they can give it to. And so why do you feel unworthy? we have this underneath it. We're going to look for an explanation here, but you have the Tower card here. And it's in reverse. And so this tells me that, I mean, the Tower card in reverse is a big difference between the Tower. Tower moment would have been something that was extremely significant and just kind of wiped you out. But the Tower card in reverse tells me that, you know, maybe this didn't wipe you out, but there was something that happened to you when you were younger that was very close to wiping you out. You know, your whole identity of who you were. I don't know if this is a single incident. I don't know if this is what your childhood was like. But there was enough there. I'm going to say it probably was over time. That, you know, people told you you didn't matter. And when we walk around feeling that, there's going to be a lot of people that will give us the proof of that around us. And maybe they still do. Maybe people still shit on you. And they still give you the proof that you don't matter. Because in your head, you know, something's going to happen and your ego self will go, see, there's the proof right there. See, there's the proof right there. And then 8 of Wands, this is the first time it comes up, and it comes up again as the main card for advice from the tarot. So what's the 8 of Wands? Well, Wands is about going in your, it's all about your purpose. It's about your direction, where you want to take your life. It's like a creative part of you. I don't mean like, it's creative as in just, you know, doing what you want to do, putting yourself first. Well, that really knocked you down. It really knocked you sideways. And so you lost focus. Notice how this is the one card in the deck that doesn't have any people in it. It's like these wands are parallel and they're very, very focused. Well, you lost focus. And I'm going to say whatever this was, you know, this shame that you ended up inheriting, it caused you to lose focus of who you are and what your purpose was, right? I think there's a real calling here for not only for you to get in touch with your authentic self, but to get, there's a calling here to go into a new direction for yourself, right? And because the first card that the universe says, the advice from the tarot says, well, let's look at this direction. Let's look at this new direction here. Let's look at this focus, this new focus here. That's what's most important here, right? I think you've been sitting for a long time, Capricorn, and thinking, you know, I don't matter. Why bother? Why bother doing anything? I'm shit. I have all this shame, I'm carrying all this shame, feel terrible about myself. But there's this new direction here. The universe wants you to take that and go with it. Take that energy. Take that Aries energy. Take the energy of those 8 of Wands. We're going to turn that card. It just needs a quarter of a turn. It's not upside down. It's sideways. It's just a quarter of a turn. But there's a new direction here for you. Now you have 4 cards here for you to clarify this. So let's talk about your new direction. Well, first of all, you have the 5 of Wands here that are it's in reverse. You have these individuals that they look like they're all battling it out, right? I call this the battle of the egos going on, you know. My wand is bigger than yours. Look at me. Look at me. I got the tallest one. I'm the best. This is this card of where we look at, let's say, for example, you have this idea that you've always wanted to do something. Capricorn, what do you want to do? Was there one thing you want to do? And you look at all the people that are already doing it. For example, when I started my tarot channel, I literally, like I was following tarot at the time. And then when I started it, I literally got online and I started looking at all these other people reading tarot. And I thought, there's no way I'm going to sound like them. Well, I'm not supposed to sound like them. Everybody reads tarot differently because it's a reflection of your own experiences, I find. And so that's what you do. You're your own worst critic, right? Because you're used to people criticizing you. And so what you're going to do is you're going to go out and you're going to find people that are better than you. Maybe you want to do, I don't know, you want to start some little business of something or something you want to do for yourself. But you're going to say, well, that's already been done. Oh, I can't do that. I won't be as good as they are. And that's what you're doing. And the universe is saying, you know, that has got to stop. That's got to stop. And you have to bring awareness to that, right? And then you've got this 3 of Cups here. And it's the cups are like our emotions. These are 3 feminine figures celebrating their feminine side. And this card is asking you, let's celebrate who you are. Let's celebrate, when I say who you are, your authentic self. And you don't know who that is yet. But it's not the person that you've lived all your life believing you are. That's not you. And if you can at least start off by saying, that's not me. That was never me. People gave me that image of myself. And now this beautiful card here that's going to say, we're celebrating this beautiful feminine side of you, this beautiful creative side to you that's wanting to blossom, that's wanting to come out, because you're going to find who you are. You've got this little inner child of yours. This is the page coming out here, the Page of Cups. It's in reverse because when a page comes out, they represent my inner children, your inner children. And they need healing. Our inner children need healing. They're the ones that hold our big emotions. They hold the emotions that we couldn't feel when we were younger. You've got this little part right here that's dying for your attention. And I mean dying. It is desperate for love. I think for a long time you've been living with this feeling of unworthiness. And I think for a long time you felt trapped in it. And you felt like you can't get out. But this individual can get out of this. You are an adult now. You're not a child. And your ego self wants you to believe you're a child still. But you can make your own decisions now. You get to walk away. But before you walk away from this feeling of being trapped in your mind, you've got to really heal this inner little part of you that was not loved when they were younger. They weren't loved. And so it's up to you now to love this younger part of you that needs healing. How do we do that? How do we do that? Well, we have to start to grieve. This little part right here, we talked about the grief right here that's come out. This little part of you, I call it my love seeker. He wants love. He's got a lot of grief. He's got a lot of shame. Right? So the way we get to grieving is, it's just something that comes. You have to learn how to get back in your body. We did talk about you being very much up in your head. I'm going to give you a video. This is a start for you. I think I'm going to give you a video on grounding. Because when you learn how to ground yourself, you learn how to get back into your body. And then you can really try to sit. Because I'm telling you now that you need to get in touch with your grief. But you sit there. And I want you to feel, once you learn how to ground yourself in the video, I want you to sit with it. Because when you ground, emotions are going to come up. It's not something that's zen. Emotions are going to come up. And I want you to really feel those emotions. Think of you as a child when you were told that you were a piece of shit, when you were unworthy. Think of you as a little child. Get a little picture of yourself. Hold it in your hand, and say, this was me. Poor you. And feel for that little child that didn't get the love that they needed. And that's when you're going to grieve. That's how you heal that little part of you. You need to grieve, grieve, grieve. I only want to tell you how much I've grieved and grieved and grieved. And you grieve also because you've been living a lie your whole life and thinking you are somebody that you're not. So this started out as a heavy reading for you, but I hope that it's given you something, just to let you know that there's some grieving here. And it's up to you now as the adult to support that little child of yours that needs that love. That's what's really important here. So Capricorn, I want you to have compassion for yourself for what you're working through, because this is a very difficult journey, but it's the most important one. So take care, and I'll talk soon. Bye.